Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Samir, the CEO and co-founder at Social Champ. Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Samir. Thank you for joining our podcast. At first, please tell us, what does Social Champ do?
Sure. Social Champ is a social media management platform. It's one place to post on your social media. We support 11 social media platforms, including Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Threads. So you can post stuff. Then we have social CRM, where you get social inbox. We have analytics. We have social listening. We have competitor analysis. Agencies can manage their team members. We have shareable calendar, like you can get a link and you can share it with your customers. So that's all we have. I think the biggest problem with the product is about, so the problem, we love having problems, we get problems, we solve it, we move forward. So, it's always fun to have those problems. So I think our biggest challenge right now is scaling the team, creating processes, because we have hired some engineers, some marketeers, we need to create that process.
Who would you say needs Social Champ? Who is it for? What types of industries? What roles?
Yeah, sure. So Social Jam is basically for mid-size B2B businesses and mid-size agencies. So we figured that B2B businesses, they don't have social media, they have social media managers, but they have to also focus on other activities in their company. So our core audience is mid-size agencies and B2B businesses. However, we also serve entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, nonprofits, NGOs. We have been supporting NGOs and nonprofits since we are running. And solopreneurs who want to use a product, we have a free plan for them. We don't charge. So in that free plan, they can connect their 3 social profiles, and a lot of features are opened over there. So as compared to the competition, they've cut or closed their free plan, but we believe that we need to help solopreneurs. So that's why that angle is always open, but our main customers are B2B businesses and mid-sized agencies.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. And I'm curious about the top 3 most loved features that you see from your customers. What do you say are the most common ones?
Yeah, sure. I think the top 3 would be the clean and UI UX. That is super clean and easy. It doesn't tell people that, hey, you need a degree to use the product. You don't need a certificate to use the product. That's the first one. And then it's about the experience. And then the topmost feature, you would say, the shareable calendar. So when you want to share a doc or with anyone, you share a link, right? It's a shareable link. Anybody can see it. So for us, people schedule their content and they then choose what type of calendar they want to share with other people. They can create a link and it could be password protected and people can comment on that link. They can accept it, they can reject it. So that's really used a lot, the shareable calendar. And then we have the social listening and analytics, where people download analytics in a PDF or PPT format, and then they do it again. They share it with the customers.
Can you please share a favorite success story of a customer that achieved some results, some numbers that you can share? Anything that will help the audience understand how Social Champ helps B2B companies.
Yeah, sure. I think one of the great case studies was a client. Basically, they use a product. So, when agencies work, they need approval of content from client. And it's a very big hassle where they need to, approve the content, the comments go back and forth. They used to do that in spreadsheets and different tools out there. But once we implemented that, so what they did was that they created the content on a CSV file. They used to do in that manner first. They used to create that in a CSV spreadsheet, share with the customers. They can give comments and then they can do it back. But what happened was that with Social Champ, they did everything in the calendar and they shared the link with the client. And the client actually had to easily comment, fix issues, comment issues. And once the approval was done, everything went smoothly, right? There was no point of having errors or misunderstanding. That was one part.
Yeah.
Other part was that an agency got content to post from a content team. And the content team actually did everything done, and they actually gave it to the agency to schedule on social media. So now for agency, they have to do it everything one by one. And here we have a feature called bulk upload, where we use a CSV file, we put it into columns and sections, and if you upload that in Social Champ, everything will be scheduled in a single click. You don't have to schedule all those posts one by one and like 50 posts or 100 posts and clicking so many times. So those are the things, that small things that make efficiency really super fast, and it really helps streamline the process.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'm curious about pricing. How does it work?
Yeah, I think the pricing we have a free tier again for solopreneurs. Like I said, we love supporting solopreneurs, and then we have a $29 plan, which is a champ plan, and then we have a $99 plan, like a business plan, and then there's an agency plan based on what needs to have. But one thing that we have done different is that we have brought add-ons for for each tier. So, for
Hmm.
example, if you're in a $29 plan and you just need to increase one team member, we don't force you to jump to a business plan, but we give you add-ons that, hey, you can add team members on $5 per user, or maybe if you need social profiles, you can have them for like $10 per user.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really good, and I think the community appreciates these add-ons. Now about the impact of AI. How did AI impact the social media industry and especially Social Champ as a social media management tool?
Yeah, I think I love the this era of AI right now. Before the era of AI, there was NFTs and blockchain, and to be honest, social media platform tools couldn't do anything with those
Yeah.
innovations. But with AI, we help people create content, right? People come to Social Champ to publish content, and we help them create good quality content. So it really helped us because we empowered users by integrating with OpenAI. So now they can generate content with via AI suggestions. They can create images via AI. They can find sentiments of what the audience is thinking about their content via AI. It's really the best time to post pre-posting the content, and even after posting the content they can find best time to post. So I think AI has really helped in enabling people become power users, and it saves a lot of time. So we have really harnessed that AI capabilities into the product.
What are the most common integrations that you see with the platform? I mean, the most common social media apps that you see.
Yeah, I think it's very funny, like the most commonly integrated, the social platform would be Facebook. It is Facebook, right? And then Twitter. But if you look at the media, right, people will be talking against these companies because, hey, the organic reach is dead, which is dead, right? But still, people keep on posting to these platforms so that they appear alive, rather than a customer finds their post that was last posted like 6 months ago, they'll think this company is dead. So people keep posting, but it's still Facebook. It's then TikTok is picking up, but Twitter and Facebook are the top two platforms, you could still say.
And I guess also LinkedIn because the audience is
Yes, yes,
B2B.
LinkedIn is picking up. Yeah, yeah, LinkedIn is picking up. Uh, but if you look at the reach, where you get the most organic reach, I think that would be LinkedIn, right? But
Yeah.
if we are talking about what people are integrating or connecting their social profiles with Social Champ, so these are the platforms. But absolutely, it's LinkedIn. When you create content, the reach is really high on LinkedIn.
Okay. And I know Meta did some changes with their API. It was not public anymore, right? A couple of months ago. Did this affect you in any way?
So I think Meta started, being enforcing security on third party apps because what happened a few years ago, like Cambridge Analytica. So they actually focus on that, and then, once they do our audit every year. So all the third party companies, they're audited by Facebook. Their APIs, their libraries, everything is audited. So that's number one. They always do it every year. Second is they do cut some APIs, or like recently, you cannot, as a third party app, you cannot post directly on Facebook groups. They cut that API, right? They're also, in this month, they're also trying to give less analytics from Facebook. So we'll have less analytics. Third party apps will have they'll have less analytics from the API. So I think that's something, unfortunately not good on behalf of promoting the third party apps, and make enabling other companies to also build on your platform, I think. But when the security is concerned, they did a good job in auditing, but cutting off APIs and then launching threads and saying that, we are embracing this open culture of sharing data. That's kind of like an
Yeah.
oxymoron.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And I'm curious about the competitiveness or in the market, in the social media management market, and how Social Champ is different. How are you navigating this competitive landscape, and how you make sure you win?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, people think their competition as something very negative. I think it's a very positive thing, and competitors are, some of the CEOs are my friends. So we're in the same space. We're friends. We share challenges. But I think, and this space is so big, like it's so big that no one has ever, conquered or accomplished this entire space at all. So there's still room for companies in this space. People are like, oh, there are like 50, 60 tools out there, but nobody has ever, captured the entire market. You ask a person, tell them there's a platform where you can post on one platform, it goes to like 11 platforms, they'll be like shocked. Oh, wow, it does exist. And they don't even know such platforms exist, right? So this landscape is like 833 billion market, right? Because to be honest, there's no single niche, there's no single vertical we are in. Restaurants users, universities users, TV channels users. So it's like horizontal spread. The market is horizontal spread. So with respect to competitors, we love having competitors. We love looking after them. Seeing what they're bringing into the product. How can we innovate onto it? So we get inspired by competitors, and then customers tell us, hey, this is good or not, and that's how we build the product.
I love your mindset.
Yeah.
How about the story of the company? How did Social Champ start?
Yeah, I think it's a very crazy story. This company was never meant to be a company. This company was formed by an accident. So this is my fourth startup. Three did not work out, and my third startup was a Reminds app. So I was looking forward for marketing strategies, how to promote my third startup. And then during that time, I read a book by Guy Kawasaki called and Beck Fitzpatrick called The Art of Social Media. I read that book. I found a strategy to repeat your tweets multiple times on social media. I love the strategy. I said, hey, maybe there are tools that will allow me to repeat my tweet multiple times. I looked at the competitors, none of them did it. So I looked at the API, there was API already there. So I asked my co-founder, hey, you know what? Let's build this for marketing of a third startup. And he said, yeah, I'll do it on your birthday. It was about to come in 2 weeks. That's his way of asking to give me time. And when the birthday came, he did the back end, I did the front end, and we started using it. We didn't buy a domain. It was just Social Champ, a name that instantly came to my mind, and we made a URL like socialchamp.testurl.com, something where we didn't buy the domain. It was a test app, and the UI was not there. It was a Twitter automation tool where we could just post a tweet, and we can just say that, hey, post this tweet like 4 times with 8-hour difference, and it will post 4 times with 8-hour difference. I think that's how it started the company. And we shared it with some friends, and they started using the product. And one day, Guy tweeted on his Twitter that, who has read my book? And to which I replied that I read your book and I love the idea and I made a product out of it. To which he replied to the tweet, hey, does it add picture? Does it delete the previous tweet? And I was so happy, like, hey, I got a reply from Guy Kawasaki. It's a big thing. He worked with Steve Jobs. So I was like, and this is great. And from that day, I think our conversation started happening on emails. He guided me and mentored me that, hey, build an iOS app, buy a domain, add Facebook into it, fix the domain, buy a domain. And that's how we started adding more social platforms, and this somehow platform was doing much better than my third startup, and that's how I said goodbye to the third startup and started focusing on this product. So it came by an accident. It was Twitter automation tool. Then we started adding Facebook, Google Plus, LinkedIn, and that's how the whole journey started.
That's an amazing story, and I know it's Guy Kawasaki's favorite social media management tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's an amazing story. Thank you for that. Today, how big is the team overall?
We have full-time 35 plus team members, and these are full-time members, and some are remote employees that are in different parts of the world, so that we can serve different parts of the world. So there's some in Canada, some in Turkey. So it's widely spread, but HQ is around by 35 plus team members. Yeah.
And how about the funding? I know for a period of time you were bootstrapped, and after that you decided to raise.
Yeah.
Why did you decide that? And yeah, I love to hear your take.
Yeah, sure. I think we bootstrapped our journey. So when I say that, hey, this is my first startup, 3 did not work out, people think that, oh my God, he would be super rich so that he can, afford all these failures, and can keep going. But I think we started our journey by running a software consulting firm in 2012, and we ran that software consulting firm for like till 2019, like 8 or 9 years. And that was where we focused on the software consulting, saved money, invested in products, failed. There were 2 streams we were going through. And it was really taking a lot of focus out. Sometimes when there's a fire in software consulting business, we had to jump in, fix that issue. I had to jump in. My co-founders had to jump in to fix those issues. So It was a tough job, and we always wanted to have an investor so that we could just focus on one thing specifically. And in 2019, we got our first funding from Oman Technology Fund. It was 100K, and at that time, our software consulting firm was making money around $8,000 to $9,000 per month, and it was a big risk. And I said that, you know what, this money that we raised, 100K, would last for like 1 or 1.5 years. Probably let's just take a risk and say goodbye to the clients. So we gave them 2 months. They understood because they also were startups. We said goodbye to the agency, started working on to it, and then Corona happened. We raised another 225, and then recently in 2022 we got part of Techstars Toronto, and we have raised like up till now 345K. It's a small seed rounds that we have done, but now we are profitable, we are break even, we are trying to scale much faster, we are going for this market, so it's really good so far now.
That's amazing, and I'm rooting for you, and I think it's a great journey, very inspiring for entrepreneurs, and
Yeah.
the decision you made are very reasonable. I'm curious now. You're in a consulting business. How did you find your first clients for the social
Yeah.
champ, for the social
Yeah, I
media
think it
management
was
tool?
a. So I think I often get this question because a lot of freelancers, they want to get projects and do good stuff and bootstrap. For us, I think we were very honest. I think the first thing is honesty and trustworthiness. If you are a person who is a single person, you're not a company, just tell the client, hey, I'm a single person. If you are an agency and you are trying to be a single person, just be honest with you. There's so much scams or lies being told on freelance market. If someone is looking for a freelancer, you go as a company, tell, hey, we are just one person, but you're a company, you lie to it, right? So I was always honest, and the honesty is one thing. And second thing is about creating a good quality portfolio. Anything that you do, the portfolio should be enough to tell them what you're worth, right? And customize your messages. So if somebody's looking to create a project, you can customize those messages. That, hey, I worked on this project. This is the portfolio that's similar to this. And apart from the techniques or this honesty thing that you do on social media, I think the best thing is that we did was we also participated or replied to people on social platforms and helped them. And that's how I got my first big client. I still remember on LinkedIn groups, one of the person posted that, hey, cross-platform apps are slow. How do we speed it up? So I replied on LinkedIn that, hey, we also faced this issue and this is something we did, and this is how you can fix the problem. And I just was, it was midnight. I just replied and I slept. And next day I woke up and, the CEO, it was CEO of the company. He connected me with the CTO saying that, hey, can you give a proof of concept that it will fix the problem? I said, yeah, sure, give me the problem. He gave me the problem, the product. I contacted my co-founders, hey, let's just fix this bug, make it faster. We did it. We gave him the product. He was very amazed. He said, wow, this is working. He wanted us one person for like, I think $18 or $20 per hour for like 8 hours in a day. He hired us on those numbers, and eventually he got my 2, 3, 4 team members from the company, and that's how I got my first customer. And that's how social media was the one who got me, and then again it was other strategies.
And today for social champ, what is the most successful go-to-market strategy for acquiring new customers?
I think it depends. We are so happy to share that most of the customers that we are getting is from organic search. So if you're searching good keywords, LinkedIn scheduling tool, or Hootsuite native, we have the top results in the US. And I think after organic search, it's a referral. A lot of people who use a product like solopreneurs, who we give access to the product, they refer to their friends who are in agencies. They refer to other people, hey, this is a good product, cost effective, just try it out. So I think these are the things that are working a lot. We do a lot of other stuff like influencer marketing, paid ads, but I think these are some strategies that I'm really proud of.
What was the biggest challenge that you faced since starting social champ?
I think the biggest challenge, to be honest, every day there's a new challenge to solve. If you think you have no challenges, it means that you don't know there's a storm coming and you will soon be hit by it. So I think every challenge we faced, we found a solution to it. And then once it was solved, we went into a different challenge. So for me right now, if you talk about it, it's about creating processes that are scalable, right? I hire a team member, they go through a process and it's scalable. They have the freedom to do what they want to do with creativity, but there's a process, and they make sure they learn from our mistakes. So I think for me right now, it's about creating processes, and I think that's the thing I want to solve right now. But if you look at the broader version, it's about reaching to more users, marketing the product, reaching to more customers, increasing numbers, and etc. that a startup has to run for.
Okay, thank you for that. We reached the final part of the podcast where I want to learn more about yourself as a person. I'm keen to learning how you started as an individual after finishing your studies.
Yeah, sure. So I was trying to become a doctor, and in my
Okay.
eighth, ninth grade, I think there was a concept that if you get good grades, you would be eligible to go and apply for pre-medical. But if you suck at studies, you have to choose computer science. You won't get the option to choose pre-medical. So somehow I got my good grades, and everybody was saying, "Hey, Dr. Samir, and he's going to be a doctor." I was like, "Okay." I wanted to do something in computers, but I said, "You know what? I'll do it as a hobby, and I'll just become a doctor. What people want me to become," because my friends were also becoming doctors in school. So I chose that. I chose medical, and I studied it. It was tough, memorizing all those crazy words, but and this schooling was done in a different country, and something happened. We had to move back to our country, and when I moved over here, the shortest way to get good marks in school was to choose computer science. So I was forced to be in that. I chose computer science and slowly, gradually moved up. And when the transition happened from one country to this country, it was a mind-blowing transition. Everything was different, the culture was different, studies. So we had to really struggle a lot to survive in these circumstances. And I think that was a moment when I redefined me. That was my, you could say, a reboot moment when I moved to this country, and then slowly, gradually built onto it. And luckily, in university, I thought of doing freelancing so that I can support my family, and then that's how to support the family, I did freelancing, and slowly moved on further and further. Took very cautious steps to embrace this new journey that I was on. That's why we did bootstrap. We didn't take a very big risk. Like, we as co-founders, we set an amount that this is the amount that needs to go home. If this amount doesn't go home, we will stop doing what we're doing and go back to where we started. So
Yes.
that's what I think that kept us running forward.
Yeah. So you need to have a minimum
Yeah.
minimum take to get home, and yeah, I totally understand and I appreciate your transparency. After all this experience and learnings, what would be your best piece of advice for a starting founder to someone that's just 20, 25, 30 looking to start their first business?
Yeah, I think the greatest advice I could give to you right now is that learn to ask for help. And this is a thing I learned from a lot of different mentors, that kids or anyone who wants to start a startup, they don't ask for help. And by what I mean is that, let's say somehow they win a competition, somehow they got a degree, somehow they did something that's very inspiring, and they forget asking to help from others, because they think that if we ask help, our respect would go down. And I think this is a problem with a lot of startups who do not reach out to mentors. And believe me, there are so many mentors out there who want to help startups and founders, and that's because they want to give back to society, and they will do it for free. They want to help others, but nobody reaches out to them. Like, they just can't figure out who to
Exactly.
help, because people do not want help. They think they'll figure out everything by themselves, and they learn from mistakes. So I'm saying that when you reach out to mentors, it's not that you won't fail, or you won't face failures. It's just that from the mistakes they did, you won't commit those mistakes. Probably you'll do new mistakes, but it's better to do new mistakes than to do mistakes that previous people have done. So I think the advice would be to learn to ask for help, even not from the humans, but let's say the creator who created you, right? We think he understands some different language, that some kind of a different language he understands, that you can't ask help, right? So we have forgotten those. We have got a disconnect from humans, from the creator, and I think that's why there's always chaos and problems in the world.
I love this, and I'm so grateful that you shared this with the audience. I have one last question for you, Samir. What is your favorite software that you use apart from Social Champ?
Ah, that's a tough one. Favorite software. Um, there are many that I use, to be honest, and I think
You can do a top three if it's too hard to
yeah,
pick.
I think it would be. I think that I'm inspired by the design of Canva, the story of Canva. I know the founder, so Canva is something I really love. Although I don't use it because we have in-house design team, but the journey, the product, the finishing, I love the product Canva, and I really appreciate it. I also love the story of Buffer. When the CEO of Buffer was using the product, I myself was a user of Buffer. I loved it, right? And then somewhere down the path, it became more confusing. So I used to love Buffer, and I think in my daily use, I use different tools like Mattermost. Like people use Slack for communicating. I use Mattermost, and Mattermost is hosted on a server. So I love Mattermost, the open community that allows you to host stuff onto your platform. I use Mattermost for communication, I think. So yeah, I think there are different many tools out there, and depends what I want to do with those tools out there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Is there anything else that you want to tell us today on the podcast before we close it?
No, I think you've pre-asked everything, and I really appreciate you getting to me, reaching out, and I really hope the new genre, new you could say, startups and entrepreneurs do great things in life, and they can go beyond us. And yeah, we just hope a lot from the new generation coming forward.
Thank you so much, Samir. You did great. Thank you.
All right, Kristen, have a good day.